All right, guys, what is going on? What's good? What's good? Hope everyone had a good week so far. Pretty solid Friday, the 11th. And yeah, we got some new members in recently this week. We got a few more members in. And, you know, I say this all the time is the data that I am provided with in the back office is 2 days behind, right? And let me just, is the chat on? Let me just make sure I didn't screw that up. drop a 1 if you're here, because I don't see the chat on. Oh, never mind. Okay. I refreshed my page and now I can see it. Naruto, Josh, back in the country. Hope to be a part of your community as well. Oh yeah, Josh, LM21 from Go Live. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you're here, man. I see that sniper next to your name. What's good, Allie? Stephanie, 2020. Longs in the morning indices were clean. Yes, they were. And I'm going to talk about that as well. What's good, Kevin? And yeah, Alex, what up, what up? Alex, you're the only one that doesn't have a sniper next to your name. We're going to have to peer pressure you into getting a membership today. Membership. All right, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, so interestingly enough, it wasn't yesterday, but Wednesday, I had a conversation with some friends of mine, as well as a new person that I met, and they knew me from the sniper course, but I had never met her before. There's a lot of people that I haven't met before, and so we were just having a conversation, and every once in a while when I meet new people or people start to get deeper into trading or get to know me a little bit more, sometimes the question comes up of does your family trade, right? Because it's like, oh, everybody knows that I'm a trader, you know, I'm a teacher, author, whatever. And it's like, okay, well, you know, it's great that you trade and all these things, but do your friends trade? Does your family trade? And the answer to that is no. Okay, not really. And I think there's a reason behind all that, and that is what I wanted to discuss with you guys today. And I think there's some trailing stops here at 10:30, and that I think is easily going to be on the table. 44.68 plus 1. All right, so that is why the title of today's stream is "You Can Lead a Horse to Water, but you can't make it drink." Okay, have you guys heard that expression before? Have you heard that expression before? You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink. We've all heard that before, right? So what do you think that means, chat? What does that imply to you? What is your interpretation of that? What's good, Trillionaire? What's good, Maximiliano? Akinola as well. A lot of people in today. Well, for a Friday at least. For a Friday at least. Now, while you guys are answering that question, we do have equal highs at 44.93. However, I don't know if that's going to be met today. We did sweep yesterday's high by a substantial amount. If we trade above this high at 44.85, then I would be heavily convinced that we would trade above 44.93. If not, then we don't. And that's that. 2020 said you can only do so much for someone until they themselves have to make a decision for themselves. I agree. You can provide us with everything we need, however, we still need to do our part with homework, etc. I agree. Narzo said you can only control what you can control. I'm only responsible for what I'm responsible for. Doing my job is on me. Others I am not responsible for and cannot control. I like it. More of a stoic answer, but I'll take it. Maximiliano said you can show or put someone onto something, but you can't force them to do it exactly. Stephanie says resistance to process, action, or thought. So yeah, basically one thing, and this is interesting too. So Wednesday I had that conversation, and then it was yesterday. I was not arguing exactly, but I was going back and forth for just a little bit with someone on Twitter, and because they had asked something on this other post. So this other person's post, what happened yesterday, and I'll walk you through it. Okay. What happened was, and you guys know I talk about this all the time. Okay. So what happened was, on a 1 minute time frame, this individual thought that this was the stop run, right? So they looked at it as a break of structure. They tried to buy the imbalance and they got stopped out. And then the market went their way. And so, of course, y'all know me, you know, I got to say something. All right. And I'm like, that run here is not a deep enough stop run. Like, it's not deep enough. It's like 1 point, if that. Okay. From the low here. Yeah, it's like exactly 1 point. That's not a stop run. But when it trades below 2, 3, 4, 5 points or more, then yeah, that is a stop run. Okay. So this other individual had commented, and I don't exactly remember what they asked, but they were just like, what do you mean by stop run? Or some shit like that. And I had to explain it. I'm like, look, bro. I had the chart, but I'm not gonna post it. I basically posted a chart and I said, look, man, smart money sells above old highs and buys below old lows. Okay. I mean, they do a lot in between as well, but in a general sense, smart money shorts above old highs, buys below old lows. That is liquidity. I mean, it's the most basic, you know, smart money concept that I think that there is. Okay. Where are the stops? You guys know where they're at. That's where the market gravitates towards. So a lot of the times, I would say probably about 90% of the time or more, you're not going to see a 1 point stop run. It's going to be more profound. Okay. Because stops are not just at lows, they are below them as well. Okay. So I tried to explain that, you know, previous day's high on Thursday. Okay. On Thursday, Wednesday's high was taken, and then Wednesday's low was taken. That's how you know it's a stop run. Now, what I also said, and this is, you know, the part where I get to show off a little bit. Well, I did today, at least when I posted a chart earlier. I mean, you can go look at it, but I'll just tell you what it is. So I guess the person that was, we weren't like arguing. We were just more so having a conversation. So I wouldn't call it an argument, but in the end, he said, you know, stops is subjective. And so I just cut it off right there because you have no idea what you're talking about. But I'm not going to get into an argument. I'm not going to say you're an idiot. I'm just going to, in my head, I'm going, you don't know what you're talking about. All right, this is now a waste of my time because you're not coachable. Okay. Now, again, this is where I get to show off. In the conversation, I said specifically, oh, I don't have it up. Okay. In the conversation, I specifically said, look, man, if you take a previous day's high, and this, well, to someone else, I said this. I said, if you take previous day's high, if you add either 5, 10, 15, or 20 points, if you take a previous day's low and drop 5, 10, 15, 20 points, those are usually going to be levels where, you know, stops are ran. And he was like, oh, well, that's, you know, subjective. And you guys know what subjective means, right? Subjective means dependent on or taking place in a person's mind rather than the external world. At least that's one definition, right? Basically saying, look, it's like trend lines are subjective. Do you draw it from the body, from the wick? How many do you connect? Are you using angles? Like, trend lines are the most subjective thing in the fucking world, okay? However, what I said is not. It's exact. There's no ambiguity. It's take the fucking low, drop 5, 10, 15, and 20. It's as simple as that. There's no math involved other than just subtracting 5, 10, 15, or 20. If you can't do that, you really shouldn't be fucking trading anyway. But okay, so watch this. Now, I tweeted that yesterday. Okay, now watch this. Wednesday or Thursday's low was at 12:45. Okay, so look at this. You take the trend line because we're doing a measurement, right? So we're taking the line and we're dropping down 10. Okay. Or you could just say that line is 44.73 and a half. So what's 10 below that? 44.63 and a half. Okay. Now what you can do, you can take that horizontal ray at 44.63 and a half, right? That's it. That's all we did. Okay? That's all we did. Okay. So what's very close, not the exact low today, but what is very close to the low today? Let's look at a 5-minute time frame. Look at the bodies here. They're somehow magically respecting a price level I told you a day prior. That's subjective? Really? That's just in my mind? No. I time traveled. I hopped in fucking Stewie's time machine, went to tomorrow and measured the low, okay, and said, "Oh yeah, we'll hit that in the reverse." Come on. No. Why do we magically? I mean, this is our current low of the day. I wouldn't be surprised if it came down to take this, but our current low of the day is where? It's actually 14, I think 75, like almost 15 points below. But 10 points below yesterday's low, price wicks below it and then back above it. Wicks below it and back above it. Oh. You know, John, that's just totally in your mind, bro. Really, that's not what the market actually did today when I tweeted yesterday. This, okay, situations like that is really what is, I guess, it used to be a lot more annoying than it is now because, you know, we've adopted a lot of Stoic ideas, right? And so I don't really get all that upset anymore that people, you know, aren't coachable. But when you are asking questions and I'm giving you answers and you're rejecting those answers, what the fuck are you really doing? It's like you coming to me as an obese person and saying, "Hey, John, I want to lose weight." I'd say, okay, well, you're going to have to stop eating fast food. You're going to have to probably cut out at least 60, 70% of the sugar you intake. Okay, you're going to need to get some exercise, maybe not much, but at least a little bit of exercise every day, probably the next 90 days. And you'll probably lose weight. Okay? Get in a little bit better shape. I'm not going to make you look like, I don't know, Conor McGregor in 90 days, but I can at least help you lose some weight because I've done it. And then it's like you telling me, "Oh, John, I can't give up fast food. Oh, no, I can't give up sugar. I can't do that." Okay. So why do you ask me questions? I give you the answers that work. Okay. But you're just going to reject that idea. It's so dumb. Like people, to me, I fucking hate teaching sometimes. And I know that sounds very, you know, I don't know what the right word is, but it's like, I have a passion for teaching, but sometimes I want to fucking bash my brains in when I see some people do the shit they do. Like I used to have students who would purposely trade against my bias. Imagine that. For you that have been here for a few weeks or at least a few months, you've seen what we do almost every week. Sometimes I'm wrong, but a lot of the times I am fucking spot on. And if you trade against that, your account is fucked. Okay? And then there would be excuses for that. Like, I don't get it. People purposely go against what the very thing they're supposed to do. I don't understand it. I don't. I really don't get that. John, I want to learn how to trade. Okay, cool, man. Well, I've been doing this for a while. I got a best-selling book, and I'm pretty accurate. And all right, I'll help you out. And then you just completely go against it, dude. Make it fucking make sense, man. Make it make sense. The Nasdaq is dog shit today. I don't want to look at the Nasdaq. It's ass. It's doo-doo. And I'm not leaning with it, and I'm not rocking with it, okay? So we're just going to leave that alone. And honestly, I'm quite surprised we have not come down to take these lows either. We're just slightly create like a low, a higher low, and another set of higher lows. So this is very weird to me. I would, if I had to say, I would want higher pricing, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get that today, okay? But anyway, back to what I was saying. So what I'm saying, so the guy yesterday was saying that what I think is subjective, but I'm not the one with questions. I'm the one with answers, my friend. Maybe not all of them. And I still have some questions, yes. But you don't see me on other people's posts. You don't see me on threads, saving other people's threads, studying from anyone else. You don't see that. You see people asking me questions. Right. And to purposely reject answers is just crazy. And so I love when this shit kind of when this kind of shit happens, right? When I talk about something and then it happens the next day, it's like, bro, obviously there's some fucking merit to what I'm doing, right? So look at this. Let's look at it together. I wasn't up this morning. I almost always sleep in Fridays, okay? That's just a given for me personally, all right? I am who I am, and that's that. So what actually took place today? Well, if you had the levels that I outlined, right? Like if you were paying attention yesterday to that thread, or not thread rather, but you know, that conversation, right? Watch this. You would have said, because I told the guy, the original poster, I said, bro, backtest that. I said, for real, backtest it. So you could have forwarded test that today by going, okay, well, that's yesterday's low, and we can just take the measurements. What's 5 below that? Shit, I don't know. 68.5, I think. Yeah, I think that's right. Okay, so that would be 5 below, and then 10 below, and then 15 would have been another 58.5. And then we can measure 20, but it's gonna be way down here, and that obviously did not meet, okay? So what I'm saying is, you could have tested that idea by just having some levels there, the low, and then -5, 10, and 15. Okay. So then with that being said, what has taken place? Really look closely here. Okay? Really look close. For those of you that know the mitigation model, which I taught months ago, and even some point last year, I think. What has transpired today? All right, well, it came down and took, well, at 7:45, it took the -5. Okay, well, we're not even at the stock exchange yet. Okay. At 8:25, so 5 minutes prior, we trade below that. Okay, so are we going to use this 68.5 level? Are we going to use that level? Not really. It's not at the right time. Okay? Time, price, and context. It used to be on my charts. It got clapped somehow. I don't know. Okay. So then 8:30, here's our open. Okay. Now we can go with 63.5. That's 10. I think 10 below. And then 58.5 is 15 below. Okay. What happens here? And then again, in these other 5-minute candles. Again, the bodies here are respecting that particular price level. I mentioned an entire 12 hours prior. or maybe 10 hours prior. Okay. Then it launches up at 9 o'clock. Okay. So what does it leave behind here? What's it do right here? Look at it. Or the symbol might be there. The member goal might be there. Which now we are at 150. Like officially, because we had some leave and some more join and some leave and some more join. So it fluctuated, but officially as of a couple of days ago, we are at a steady 150. Okay. But what happens here? You have a what? Break of structure after price ran a specific level that I've talked about for years now, at least for the S&P. Okay. And then what did price leave behind on this run here? A high, a lower high, a lower high, and another lower high. So what does all that put together? What are these highs here put together called? Or how do we view that? Oh, look at that. Look at that bull candle right here. Look at that. That's nice. That's fucking nice. Liquidity, what kind of like specific liquidity? There you go, 2020. Right. It is liquidity, but specifically, excuse me, sorry. Low resistant highs. Okay. Because they're very just consecutively lower. Beautiful. So anyone who was short at 730, imbalance, lower, retracement, boom, run below the other low, Thursday's low, excuse me, by 10 points, and then a little bit more than that. Okay. Price rallies up, break structure. Okay. So what is that right here? What's this formation? Low, high. I'm looking at the bodies here. Sorry, I know I circled the low, but I'm actually referring to the bodies. Okay. High, lower low. That did what? It ran stops. So then what does your attention go to? Either one of two things. Well, more than that actually, but in terms of mitigation, it's going to be one of two things. It's going to be either a singular up candle, or since these are consecutive, you could go with both. Okay. And that's only about a 6-point range. All right. Not bad. What else do you have there? You have an imbalance right here, my friend. Hello. Bing bong. So what set our low today? What set our low today? Again, it was off by 4. Maybe it was off by less than 5 points, but a specific level, I shit you not, I tweeted yesterday. But what I'm saying is subjective, right? It's all in my head. Is it? And this is where, you know, again, it's coachability. Let me see if I can find it. I've been going stupid ham on Twitter trying to get 15 million impressions because I want to monetize my Twitter. And this is going to be, here we go. Okay. Right. So watch this. $666 views. Oh shit, the devil's watching. All right, anyway. A guy named Infinity Trading, which, I mean, look, I'm not trying to talk shit or anything. I mean, I have respect for the guy. I think it, or girl, I don't, it's probably a guy though, but a lot of followers, very, you know, whatever, 18K followers, only following 100 people. Okay, great. And so this is what I was saying, right? Where it was this low here, and they thought this was a, I think MSS's market structure shift. break of structure, if you will, right? And so I guess the imbalance or fair value gap, whatever. Okay, names don't matter, but context does. So, and I'm guessing they longed this and then got stopped out. And so what I'm saying is, look, that run here, that's the stop run. So when you look at it, all right, in the evening time, I said not a big enough stop run initially. And then this is, okay, this is the part where it gets juicy. All right, look at this, watch this. ES only went below the lower sell side level by 1 point. How many points for ES and NQ do you think is a good number for the liquidity pool to be sufficiently traded? Now, this is my honest answer, okay? I said when it comes to the S&P, the secret is increments of 5. So 5, 10, 15, and 20. Feel free to backtest. Now, unfortunately, I never figured out Nasdaq or Dow Jones. They have too many digits behind them. If anything, higher time frame, imbalance, or other concept, okay? Oh, man, my camera light just... I'm in the fucking dark over here. All right. And then that was pretty much it. And so an hour ago, that's when I posted subjective LOL, because I, just like I mentioned a moment ago, you take yesterday's low, drop 10, and that's where we're at, right? And that's, I was making fun of him because I was saying subjective, right? I know sometimes I'm an asshole, but I mean, look, bro, we literally talked about this last night in the evening. 11, that was almost 11 p.m. So that was prior to London even starting, prior to any London shenanigans, anything like that. Okay. So anyway, it was I think it was this conversation here from Deep Mo. Anyway, so they said the 4-hour trend required a new low below 44.74. Stops had nothing to do with it. All right. And the stop run has no evidence supporting it. Okay. Right. Anyway. And so honestly, I'm not really sure what he was referring to over here. And he posted a chart and I still could not figure that shit out. But you're telling me stops had nothing to do with it and stop runs has no evidence supporting it. When I fucking tweeted 5, 10, 15, and 20, it's going to be probably one of those 4 levels. Am I always going to know which level it is? At the time, no. Fucking you call trades a day in advance and you see how fucking accurate you can be. Okay? How about that? All right? Look what happens today. And you're telling me that had nothing to do with it? Stops had nothing to do with it? Come on, bro. Look, I may not be the greatest teacher. I don't have anywhere near, you know, the viewership. Okay. I don't have a lot of people on my streams, but I can guarantee you, I call trades at least like 10 hours in advance. Okay. Setups that are in advance, bro, with models I've already given you, with liquidity targets you already know about. But you're going to tell, you know, people out there really believe that stops have nothing to do with it. And that's the difference between someone who calls trades in advance and someone who only goes to Twitter with questions. You're just not coachable, man. You're not coachable. And that shit makes me want to hit my head against the wall, man. But you know what? People are going to be who they are, no matter what. And so there it is. This right here was actually the mitigation model. Oh, where did it run to? Up candle, up candle, up candle to a, some people would call this a liquidity pool, but you know, right to stops. What's the high of the day right now? Oh, where stops got taken. But stops have nothing to do with it, right? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, man. Can't make a horse drink. It doesn't matter. You end up drowning it. All right, so watch this. Okay. I'm not done showing off just yet. All right. Come over here. Come over here. Question for the chat. How far How far can price go above old highs or below old lows? Well, the whole 5, 10, 15, and 20, that's really more so for some of the majors and S&P. I don't do that for the Nasdaq or the Dow. Too many digits. It's probably more so like 50 for Nasdaq and maybe 50 or 100 for Dow. I don't know. Like I'm telling you, I don't know. But for the S&P and like the majors like British pound and euro, then yeah, you can test that all you want. How far can price go above old highs or old lows? I gave you the answer already. Days ago, weeks ago, months ago, and even years ago. But I know some of you haven't been here that long. That's all right. All right, Naruto says price can move to imbalance above highs or below lows. Imbalance, Akinola, imbalance from Josh. Right. Those levels work for majors. I got some back testing to do. Yes, you do. Okay, cool. So what do we have? All right. Are we back? Are we back? Sorry. Bitch ass computer. Can't handle it. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. And this is like as fast as it can be, so that's why it's really close. Okay. So, do we have an imbalance anywhere? Do we have one up here? From 44.91 to 44.89. Let's change the color then. Because that's the liquidity is the pink one, but the gray one is usually an imbalance. Okay. So, where's the high today? Where has the high been set? Very close to what? Well, that's liquidity. Oh, shit. Man, the notes I took a few weeks ago. Right there. Old highs, imbalance above it. Where's our current high of the day? Look at those bodies. Come on, dude. Come on. Markets repeat themselves over and over and over again. Every Friday, every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday when we're here on YouTube. They do the same things. I mean, is this like a once in a blue moon, or is this more so like, yeah, John, oh, it's the same thing. We saw that the other day. We saw that a couple days before that. Like we see this all the time, right? Yeah. It did overpass that a little bit and then created equal highs. So I don't think this is going to remain our high of the day. I'd like to see this get taken, but at least where's our current low of the day? A level I tweeted last night. Where's our current high of the day? An imbalance above old highs. You can't make this shit up. Can't make it up. I don't control price. I'm not a market maker. I'm not a central bank. I'm not a price delivery mechanism, or I'm not a hacker. I'm not Mr. Smith from the Matrix. I'm just a 29-year-old man, okay, in my or sitting at my desk looking at price. And yet it's doing things that we have already talked about. And it's subjective. This is subjective. It's not. So all I said was good luck to you. Said good luck to you, man. You know, keep studying 4-hour trends and I'll keep getting sniper entries. How about that? How about that? Dow Jones equal lows too, kind of annoying. Well, look at it. Why do you think? If we take everything off, where are we at right now? Our current day's low and our current set of equal highs. Look where price is at right now. %50 right here of like today's intraday range, of course. And we already know when to expect consolidations. Where do consolidations occur? At 50% of ranges, you know, give or take, obviously. It's not just going to sit at 50%. It's going to be near that, right? So we came down, swept the low, rallied, imbalance, came down, 618, didn't take the lows, rallied. Now we're back near 50% again. So nothing here to me is high probability at all. Because we have liquidity here. I think we have liquidity below these lows. And that's that. So today is a perfect day to walk away. It's perfect. The morning, see, I slept in, so I missed this. That was a 70. Well, let's just say 74 up to 90. That's about a 15, 16 point move in the morning. That would have been it. 10 points is $500. So 15 points is $750 per contract, at least from 9:10 to like 9:20. That'd have been it. $750 in 20 minutes. That'd have been it. Oh, how's the audio? Can we do an audio check? Drop a 1 if the audio is good. Drop a 1 if the audio is good. Thanks, Alex, Naruto. Yeah, Stephanie, might just be you. Might just be you. All right. So we're going to end the stream here in just a minute, but I'll at least probably give you some levels to look for. Again, I think all of these lows together is likely going to be a magnet for price. I think a lot of people are looking at this like a bull flag probably, or like some sort of trend line here. And that to me is just going to get bodied. So I could definitely see this running below these lows. How far can it go? I don't know. You have this single imbalance here and nothing really down here that speaks to me. It's not speaking to me. And like I said, that's going to be the same thing for ES. I think it could run below those lows. Nasdaq is ass McGee today. Hard to tell. And do y'all see the difference there? The Nasdaq trading lower at roughly that 1030, where S&P was higher here, and the Dow is also higher. So slightly mixed market for Nasdaq. You got spiked out of your position today on gold. We can take a look at it. I think gold has been looking like doo-doo lately, though. I'll tell you that. I will tell you that. It's been Chop Nation. Especially on days like today. Yeah, this looks terrible. This looks awful. Ugh. I mean, dude, just look at it. Consolidation. Run above previous high. drops below consolidation. I wonder which video that is. Okay. So yeah, stop around here, trades down. I'm not exactly sure what it traded down into, but it forms a low, rallies, dances around this bullshit at our stock exchange open. At 8:30 here, it rallies, and then the next candle, it wicks down to sweep these two lows, and then retraces. This bullshit at 9 runs up, doesn't take the high, comes all the way back down, runs up again, doesn't take the high, comes back down, rallies a little bit, and then just crushes back lower again. What the fuck, dude? That's disgusting. This is garbage. Oh shit, that's a 1 minute candle too. That's garbage. This is terrible, in my opinion. Okay. Silver at least had the courtesy of running stops. All these lows here from Wednesday. I don't, can you see that? Hopefully my face isn't in the way. Wednesday's low, Thursday's low. London's low here, like prior to the run lower is what I'm saying. So it takes all that at 7:45. Then it rallies, retraces, and then runs for these highs. Ugh. But I mean, even then, it just did this so... And you have some lows right there too. So like this was just not my ideal market like at all. That's just terrible. And obviously there's a very big divergence here too. You see gold having that high at 725 and then it doesn't trade higher here. Whereas silver 725 was here and then it ran liquidity here. So I mean, if you were looking to short silver above an old high, maybe, but I don't think I would have done that. I would have just left all this bullshit alone. Yeah, I think gold today is disgusting, and not in a good way. Anyway. Yeah. So we're in our afternoon session. It's almost 1 o'clock Central. And so again, I know I talked about this a lot earlier this year, but the time constraint, okay? I think the longer time, like the longer amount of time we spend not going higher, the lower probability it is for me that we would trade up to this. Okay. We're near 50%. Daily liquidity's been swept. Internal range liquidity's been swept. Now we're at 50%. Today is perfect for low probability conditions because we've met quite a number of criteria for low probability. And take a look at GU, at cable. Nobody uses the nicknames. Everybody wants to use the letters. I tried to bring that back and it didn't work. It did not work. Let me see. Let me see. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you for British pound, my friend. There's some like this consolidation here. And so there's the Dow running the lows. The lows here for British pound, I guess, but I mean, it's just moved sideways all afternoon. I think the euro has been weaker and probably would have been the better short. I just don't know exactly what it would have wanted to reach for. I don't know. It is hard to say. Yeah, so all in all, British pound probably wasn't the best to short. And this to me looks pretty awful as well. Like, and I'm not surprised. I'm telling you everything looks awful because, I mean, there was obviously news today, and it being Friday, we've already had clean moves earlier in the week. So I think things just get really ugly on days like today. And I think this is fairly ugly, right? Because you have lows here, it trades up, imbalance, and then all the way up. And it looks like it trades right there into that lack of wick, right? Drops down, imbalance here, immediately trades into that, trades lower. And then I would think like, okay, retracement and then run for the lows, but then it just dances around and doesn't do a lot. So like I'd be frustrated if I was in something like this because I would want it to hurry up and run the lows, and it hasn't done that. Whereas the euro, it's been trading lower and lower and lower. So I think shorting pound would have been a mistake today. In terms of, you know, shorting the weaker currency. I wasn't expecting this at all today, but just looking at it because you brought up British pound. 102.80 was Tuesday's high. Thursday of last week, 102.85, I think was previous week's high for the dollar. What I would do today is study how we got there. Again, I have not looked at this today. Was not expecting this at all. Just looking at it and seeing, you know, what transpired today. At least dollar index 15-minute time frame. London here. It rallies a little bit and then sinks lower. Okay, just before news, right? Takes out a short-term low. Rallies to take this high, doesn't take the weekly high though. It comes back, this, it could be seen as a mitigation. But I'd probably put all these candles together and just, instead of just the last, or like the only up one here. This is also an imbalance as well. So it trades back into that and then runs how we're seeing now for the dollar. I mean, so again, I would study that, but what would the trade have been? Honestly, I don't know. Probably, again, on euro for a short, I'd look for euro shorts when the dollar is in here. So this morning, and see what you could come up with. So the 5-minute time frame actually redefines this mitigation a little bit more, and that makes sense why it traded a little bit lower than what you just saw on the 15-minute. Rallies, imbalance right there, and a gap right there too, and then takes off. So that take off on the dollar, I'm wondering if that can be seen with a sell-off in the indices. It looks that way. It does look that way. So anyway, it's been almost an hour, so I'll take probably 1 or 2 more questions and then we'll shut it down for today. And then we will shut it down for today. What else you guys got? What else do you got? There's an imbalance right here. Probably like 30 minutes ago. 2 short-term highs. How far can price go above a short-term high? An imbalance. Magical. Went straight for liquidity. Simple. In bearish markets, sub candles should be respected. You see that here, and you see that here, and you see that here. So I'm giving you quite a bit to study this weekend. But hey, I wouldn't have shorted that, me personally. But if you want something to study, that's what I would look at today. Right? Liquidity at all these lows. We talked about that. And so study how we got there. How did price get to liquidity? When did it get there? Took out highs, rebalanced price, and then sank. The S&P didn't do the same thing. Didn't have really the same price action. It had like some highs here, but it didn't really run into something on the 1 minute. I'm done. Look at the Nasdaq today. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm done. Done with the Nasdaq. There's been a few great shorting opportunities, but the S&P having equal highs has been messing me up. Well, technically, this is a divergence here, if you look at it, right? Because you have a higher Dow, and then you have a lower Nasdaq. So that was distribution here on the Dow. So that justifies the indices making a high. Now, the S&P was in the middle, right? It didn't make a higher high, it didn't make a lower high, it just made equal highs. But if anything, that would be likely a justification to short Nasdaq or Dow. But yeah. And look, I told you, well, honestly, I don't remember, but I think I've explained this before, where you can have rules, and sometimes those rules will keep you out of good trades. But the idea is that the rule would keep you out of more bad trades than good trades. Does that make sense? So I would rather purposely miss, let's say, 2 good trades, if that means I can also miss taking 5 or 6 bad trades. You see what I'm saying? It's like the math will add up in the end. And I think we hyper focus on what we missed. It's like, oh, well, fuck, man, I could have shorted that imbalance and, did this or whatever. Or I mean, anything up here. Because you could have looked at it and said, oh, well, the bodies are making a higher high. We dropped down imbalance. Like, oh, I could have shorted that. I mean, yeah, you could look at it that way. Or you could look at it how I'm telling you to look at it and just be thankful that it will keep you out of more bad trades than good trades. And you have to be objective, man. You have to be, or what's the right word? I guess objective is the right word. A glass half full type shit. Right side. Abundant mindset, not scarcity mindset. And again, that's why we are smart money Stoics, right? We trade like smart money, and we, look at Stoic ideas. Shit, the fucking Declaration of Independence was written based on Stoic philosophy. Martin Luther King Jr., some of his ideas are in very, very in alignment with Stoic philosophy. CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, came from a lot of the ideas that we have came from Seneca and other Stoics. The Serenity Prayer, Stoics, and that's interesting to me how we learn about all these things, but we never learn about where the ideas came from. We talk about, oh, the Declaration of Independence was written by X, Y, and Z, and this, that, and the third. But they don't go any further by saying, yeah, and it was, previous philosophers that they got the ideas from. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's philosophy, bro. Stoic philosophy specifically. The Stoics were trying to do what? Live in accordance with nature. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So I think it's interesting how all that works. Theodore Roosevelt, right, was one of the presidents of the United States. I forget which one. And he went on an expedition in the Amazon. I got this from Ryan Holiday, right? River of Doubt. It's a brick of a book. It's taken me a long fucking time to read it, and I don't know if I'm ever going to finish it. But Theodore Roosevelt carried a copy of Meditations and I think the Enchiridion from Epictetus. It's like, well, damn, I never knew this shit, You don't really realize how much Stoic philosophy has influenced our lives until you've been told. It's like, I don't understand why it was left out. That's also, I'm just bullshitting at this point, by the way. That's also one of the reasons why my name is John Fibonacci, because the Fibonacci sequence, right, was, discovered rather by Leonardo Fibonacci of Pisa, right? And I never knew that until way after school. Like way after I got into trading, rather. And it's like, I don't get why all these people, mathematicians, Roman emperors, slaves, philosophers, all of these people were just not mentioned. It's like, oh, we'll take your ideas, but we won't say, who it's from type shit. And that, I think, is a disservice. And that, and again, that's why my name is John Fibonacci. I'm trying to give credit back to people where a lot of these ideas came from. The golden ratio, the 618 entry, you know, that's not something I made up. That's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the golden ratio that was discovered thousands of years ago, or at least 1,000, 1,200 years ago. So anyway, here's the last thing I'll say, and then we'll hop off here. The Dow ran these stops, it looks like. I mean, not by much. But the Dow made a lower low here, and the S&P did not. So what I want to see is two things. I want to see if we get to these highs, I want to see how we react from there. Like, if we get above this high, how do we do it? If we get above this high, how do we do it? And that, I think, is going to give us more information, because if we just blow through those highs, I would think the 90s is going to be on the table for today. If not, if we just consolidate, whatever, if we just start to immediately trade lower, then I think the 60s are going to be on the table. Okay. It's Friday. We're around 50%. I don't have something that's going to be high probability. Okay. I don't. So if you want a trade idea, I do not have one. Okay. If it was me, and what I'm going to do is not take anything unless it's super high probability up to these highs. I don't want to look for shorts below this low, but if we start gunning for these equal highs, especially probably that last hour, then I might take something. But my predominant idea today is don't press any buttons. All right. That, my friends, is what I will leave you with. So don't try to convince people to learn how to trade if they don't want to. Don't try to teach people who don't want to be students, who aren't coachable. You're just going to end up wanting to just bang your head against the wall. Okay. Baby Pips had a doctor's appointment today. Oh yeah. No, today I think is worth rewatching, or at least worth listening to. We haven't done a whole lot with price action, but we've talked about a lot of things today. So yeah, y'all be good, man. Y'all have a good weekend. I'll see you guys on Monday.